you gotta be so mid? That's how my week was. An average week of football for this college football, I believe, was week 3 of college football that we had.
Yep.
And it was weird. It was weird, you know. We were back and forth last week. Were we against each other on all 4 picks?
Yes, against each other on all 4 picks.
That's crazy, and we ended up splitting.
We split them, yeah.
We split, and you can't complain about that. Let's be at the end of the day.
I'm gonna complain about it a little bit. I am.
Well then, welcome back, everyone. Let Evan begin his complaining.
On Squeeze the Juice, we love to complain, but I cannot complain about the Missouri Tigers. Shout out to them.
Man,
61-yard field goal.
Hurt, man.
Mevis, how about it, man? That was insane. Were you watching that live?
I was not. I was at my sister's.
Oh.
I was at my sister's new house, but I was keeping up to date on ESPN.
Dude,
with
it was electric. That was an awesome kick. And then the Gators, they destroyed Tennessee. I should have taken the money line. That was a mollywop.
It was.
I was blown away. I mean, I thought they would compete. I thought it could be close, but Billy Napier and those Gators stepped up. And Graham Mertz, he looks legit, man. I don't know what it is about Florida, but he's been able to he looks more composed, more in control.
He needed a few games.
And that rushing attack with ETN.
Wow, yeah.
It looks good. It looks good.
Something about not winning in the swamp, man.
Yeah, the streak continues. 20 years now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On the flip side, though, the other games, Minnesota and UNC. Justin was on UNC minus 7.5, and they pulled away at the end. Minnesota was in it in the second half, and then a couple of turnovers. Really, just nothing going offensively. You know, I didn't like that pick. I should have just trusted my gut and took UNC.
It's so funny when you really hate the pick, you end up.
It's always
right now,
bad.
it's the bad.
It's always bad. And then the other game, Washington destroying Michigan State. I don't even know what the final score was. I think it was 107.
I should have pounded the money line on Washington, but it wouldn't have even been a good bet.
No.
That's why we took that plus.
Keep pounding the
minus.
Pound the spread.
Just minus 17, baby. Minus 17 ended up being minus 40.
It's torturous. It was 41-7. That was the final. I know the final score. I watched basically the whole game.
So did I. I was sitting down here. I had to watch that because, okay, Washington put out an absolute clinic. No disrespect. Sorry.
No, it was embarrassing. I don't want to talk about my team. I'm done. I'm going on strike. I'm done with Michigan State football. They have to earn my respect back.
Wow.
It's gone. I'm done. It was embarrassing. The coaching staff, miserable. The players, miserable. The entire brand, miserable. It's a miserable football program. They need to hire a coach that can revitalize it. And then some. They're going to need a 180 turnaround because it's so bad right now. That was horrible. I thought there was a chance. We could win that game, and they go on national TV on Peacock and look like
Peacock.
Complete ass.
And the thing is, even Mel Tucker being there would have done nothing.
No, they probably lose by more if Mel's there. That's just the way it is.
Because they just would have been more distracted.
Jay Johnson, the OC, doesn't know what a play call is. Scotty Hazelton doesn't know what an adjustment is. I mean, Michael Penix looks like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning combined against Michigan State's defense. It's unreal. I'm so done with this team. You know, and you go to the basketball team, right? Tom Izzo, that's a program of stability, of an identity, of structure, of respect. That's not existent within the Michigan State football program, and it's sad. So I cannot support this team until they prove to me that they are worthy of my support as a Spartan alum. I am done with Michigan State football. I've had it up to here. If you would have caught me after the game on Saturday or even Sunday, I'd be a lot more hot right now. We're about a week, close to a week, 5 days removed from it now. So I'm a bit more chilled out. I was hot.
I believe it. One thing I'd like to say is I agree with those comparisons. Michael Penix looked unreal. Absolutely unreal. But big shout out because I did not expect his receivers to be playing like that.
I did.
I didn't.
I
knew
they
were.
got 2 NFL receivers.
I knew they had a good a receiving core, but I didn't know they were just gonna be mossing everybody and every angle. Like it was just, it was a pick apart clinic. I'm sorry, it was insane.
It was embarrassing. I don't know. What do you want me to say? They looked like complete garbage.
I mean, yeah, I can't disagree.
Whatever, man. I was 2-2, 3-11 overall. It's horrible, but we're gonna get right this week. And Justin was also 2-2 and is 7-7 overall.
Keep it going.
So 3 weeks down, we got probably 10 more to go, 11 more, something like that. I don't know. Who cares? I got to get a positive here. I got to get a positive week. I've yet to have a positive week, but it starts here. It starts now. Week 4. Kick it off.
We are heading into week 4, college football, baby. We are kicking it off with what could be one of the another crazy game with the association of one of these teams.
Oh, I love that duck logo.
I knew you would. I found it.
That's
I was like,
beautiful.
who needs the old O? We don't need the O. We see it all the time.
That's beautiful.
Give me the quacker. Colorado. We thought this would be their first big test, but apparently last week with Colorado State, they had to survive in double overtime
Crazy.
at home. So I don't know, man. I still don't think Colorado State was all that much of a team. So what does that say about Colorado going into this game as they are favored in the wrong direction? They're favored to lose. Oregon's favored to win by 3 scores.
It's crazy. I can't believe this spread. And look, dude, the line opened up at -17. It's jumped to -21. And the public is just blindly betting Colorado still. 64% of the bets on the spread are on Colorado per the Action Network. So you know that people just love Colorado. They can't get enough of the Buffaloes. They can't get enough of Coach Prime. But let me tell you something right here, right now. You do not roll into Eugene and beat home Bo Nix. You just don't do it. But let's get into a little bit more detail. As I told Justin, I prepared this week. I took this week more seriously than I've taken any other week before. And there's something that stuck out to me in this one, and it's that Colorado, we know what they have with Shedeur Sanders. They don't have Travis Hunter for this game. He's going to be out for a few weeks. But regardless, we know Colorado wants to pass the football. They want to use Shedeur. He looks like a Heisman candidate, right? The difference in this game is Oregon's defense, their pass defense specifically, allowing just 5.2 yards per pass attempt. You know what that means? That's one of my favorite stats. That's 11th in the country. That means guys aren't getting down the field because you simply cannot on their defense. They're either getting to the quarterback in a quick enough time where they can't get a deep throw, or their guys are covered deep, so they have to go short. I love Oregon in this one. Colorado is good at what Oregon does well, right? Or Colorado is good at throwing the football. Oregon's great at covering it. And guess what Oregon wants to do too? They want to run the football. Colorado quite literally can't stop. They can't stop it. So it's easy for me. Ducks -21 all day.
Wow. This seemed like an easy one for me at first, but then I was like trying to go back and forth. I'm like, I think the Ducks can definitely win this game, and they could easily, I think this is going to be a potentially high-scoring game, but the thing is, how high? And is Colorado going to be able to handle that foot race? I don't know. It's a lot to look at. Look, I know Shedeur Sanders led that great drive last week, but y'all had everybody needed to push it to double overtime at home against Colorado State, who you should beat with the way this team has been playing. Should have beat them, no questions asked.
Don't give me it's a rivalry nonsense. It's Colorado State. It's not. With all
it's
due
not
respect,
like Michigan State.
It's not one of these in-state rivalries that has 2 premier top 25 programs historically. Colorado State is nothing. They're nothing. And Colorado, I don't know if they're special. I don't.
And you lose your best player in Travis Hunter.
Yeah, that's big.
especially for the weeks coming up, right? He looks like he's probably going to miss Oregon, USC. That's huge. I mean, these 2 games alone.
I mean, he's their best offensive player and their best defensive player.
It's said to see lacerated liver, I believe, which is crazy from the way that he was hit, right? It was a cheap shot.
It was right to the midsection. Like,
I thought it was more
full force.
upper, the way it looked.
It looked like pretty, like in the abdomen where the liver is.
Yeah, the liver is.
liver's
Well, I guess it's like right in the middle.
somewhere,
I don't know, but
somewhere
that's
in
just
there.
it's
I'm
just
not
crazy.
a doctor. I don't know.
I don't know, but it was a
didn't take
cheap shot.
anatomy.
Look, I believe in Prime, and I believe that he could. I'm not gonna. I don't think they get it done, but I think they could still lose by teens. But I think Bo Nix has too much.
Home Bo Nix.
He has too much to gain to let this game not be just like a smackdown, and also a real welcome to the Pac-12 and welcome to reality.
Yeah,
for Deion.
I think this is a wake-up call.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Deion's trying to keep him locked in all these situations. He's doing everything right. But, once you play conference ball, your team, that's when you notice what your team is. That's when you know who's who. And going into it without your best player on both sides of the ball is going to hurt. So I'm gonna rock the Ducks, man.
I do think it's just like the lights are going to be too bright. And fair to say, Colorado's made some noise. They've gained the respect of many, but you're going into Eugene against a team that's legit. I don't see any way that they stay in this game, especially after last week. It just doesn't seem plausible to me. But, a lot of people have doubted Prime up to this point, and maybe we're falling into the trap, but I couldn't be more confident about this pick. This is the complete opposite of Minnesota and UNC for me. So we're both on Ducks. I love it.
And a great thing about the Oregon defense is they know how to cover deep, and if they have a good line rushing up the middle, the Colorado offensive line has not been that good.
No.
Within the country, they are within top 5 of allowing the most quarterback sacks so far this season.
And that's big time. And I mean, Oregon's defense, look, they're not great against the run, but Colorado can't run the football. Either they neglect to run the football, even though I think they got a pretty nice back in Dylan Edwards.
Yeah.
But their offensive line, like you said, it's just too weak that they, either can't pass protect up the middle and they can't run the football up the middle.
Yeah, and they got to rely on a quick release offense, get it out wide and run with it. They got to, and you think, and that's what Oregon was made from.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what
Obviously
Oregon
it's a different team.
Yeah, but that's really what Oregon's defense is now. And I know they haven't played anyone substantially better than, TCU per se, like Colorado has.
Yeah.
But regardless, this is a really good Oregon football team, and they're going to show Colorado what's up.
I hope so. I think I'd like to. I know it's been a nice little hype train, but I think the people of Colorado need to be humble, a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Wake up to the Pac-12. All right, game 2. This one, I don't know what to say. Game 2, Seminoles head to Death Valley. Clemson. Seminoles favored by 2.5 in this game. After we've seen Clemson play absolute garbage of recent. And Florida State, even though they had a close one against Boston College last week, they're still a good team.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they're a good team, right? I mean, they beat LSU on opening night. Clemson lost to Duke on opening night. I think everyone's going to be loving Florida State in this one. And, well, quite frankly, they are. 85% of the bets on the spread are on the Seminoles per the Action Network. So the public loves FSU here.
Of course they do.
And there's no reason not to. I mean, Keon Coleman, Jordan Travis, they've looked the part. I mean, that game last week against Boston College, maybe a little bit of a slice of humble pie, if you will. We have to raise our level of play, especially when we're going up against an ACC opponent, right? But Death Valley is Death Valley, and Clemson is currently riding a 7-game win streak against FSU. This is a tough one for me, dude.
It's all setting up for a nice little spoiler in Death Valley, and everyone, and then Dabo Sweeney comes on the mic afterwards with a nice inspirational speech about I never gave up. I knew this was gonna happen.
Dude, it's tough for me because if Florida State can run the football, I think there's a real chance they can pull away from Clemson in this one. But if they're unable to establish the run, Clemson's pass defense is insane. They're 6th in the country.
Their run game's good with Will Shipley, too.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson, they can run the football and they can defend the pass. They're kind of like Oregon.
If Klubnik can play well,
it's going to come down to Klubnik. It's going to come down to their run defense. And really just, is Death Valley going to show up? Right? I mean, Clemson's taken their punches. They've taken their blows from the media, right? They've been in the public eye as a super team for a long time.
They thought it was going to turn into a dynasty.
Exactly. And now they're starting to lose and lose consistently. And these games against top 5 teams, especially when it's kind of a rivalry game.
And this may be the only top team they play this year.
Exactly. These are the kind of games that you have to win. No questions asked. You have to win these games when you're Clemson. There is no standard above excellence or below excellence for Clemson. The standard is the standard. And Dabo has to prove that Clemson is still Clemson. I like the Tigers in this one. I do. It's tough because Florida State obviously is the better football team. But this is kind of like Florida last week against Tennessee. Show me that you're still capable of doing what nobody else thinks you can do, because everyone is betting Florida State. So show me what you can do against a top 5 team and reestablish your identity as Clemson football. This is on Dabo. This is on Klubnik. Give me the Tigers plus 2.5.
I mean, we talked about defense, right? Clemson, even though you could argue with the first 2 games they've had, though, with Duke, and then it was I think Charleston Southern or someone else that they played. But, top 10 defense, allowing only less than 4 yards per play and less than 250 yards per game, which is insane to really think about.
Their pass defense, 4.8 opponent yards per pass attempt. That's good for 6th in the country. That's incredible.
Which is insane. And you look back at last year, Jordan Travis was there. He had a tough one. They clawed back, but they played a strong comeback. Even though they fell short, they had a strong comeback, good fourth quarter, second half last year against Clemson. They couldn't get it done, but it was still a great thing to see. Can he be locked in as he was? Can we see the Florida State LSU Seminoles? Can we see that team again? Because they didn't look that way against Boston College last week. And it's hard for me to right now believe in Clemson at all. I agree the Death Valley thing is that concerns me because like last week, Florida did it. Florida got it done.
The swamp was the swamp.
But
can Death Valley be Death Valley?
But is Florida better than Clemson?
I don't think so.
You think Clemson's better than Florida?
Well, Florida was 6-7 last year with Anthony Richardson, and Florida beat Utah last year in that opening game, and that was the swamp being the swamp. What did Florida do the rest of the year? They went 5-7.
I might bite my tongue for this, but I'm taking the Seminoles.
All right. All right. I feel like you did that just because I took Clemson. I feel like if I took Florida State, you would have taken.
I don't know. I have Florida
Clemson.
State on my sheet.
Okay.
So that if you want,
you're sticking with your gut. I appreciate it.
I am. I think it's brewing for that same situation. It's brewing. It's not like I'm not like, come on, Florida State, right?
Like everyone's on Tennessee, like they were last weekend, and they go into a hostile road environment, and you're kind of like, why is everyone betting Florida State, but this number's staying at 2.5? Like the line hasn't really moved much at all. It's weird.
Even though they're not ranked, like Texas to Alabama. If Florida State's back, you're going to win this game cleanly. May not be by 3 scores, but you're going to win this game cleanly.
Hey, any win in Death Valley is a win. Doesn't matter if it's by 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20. A win is a win.
Fair enough. Okay. On to Game 3. This is a little spicy one.
Look at you with these logos this week. What is going on?
I am.
You're cooking.
I'm cooking.
You're cooking.
A little sauce. A little sauce on top. You know the vibe. Look
It's
at
a
that.
great Bruin
Look at
logo.
that. I love UCLA, but I love the Utes
I know you
too.
love UCLA. That's why I'm very fascinated as where you're going to go with this one.
It's a tough one, man. UCLA heads to Utah. It's technically a noon game because it will be played at 3:30 our time, but that time it's technically a noon game.
Probably the best time to catch Utah, right?
Yes, it is. It is probably exactly. That's probably prime time for an upset against Utah, especially at Utah. UCLA heading into the mountains, man. Dante Moore, he's looking good. They got a great running game.
Yes.
I mean, the UCLA still looks like a solid team.
Chip Kelly
all around.
is bringing this program back to relevance for sure.
It'll be interesting to see what he does next year and heading to the Big Ten.
I think the Big Ten will be good for him. I do.
You think so?
I don't think a lot of Big Ten teams can match up well against UCLA. I think an Ohio State can match up well against UCLA, but think about the dynamic passing and rushing offenses in the Big Ten. There aren't many, if any. UCLA has that, and it's because of Chip Kelly.
And it'd be up to the defense to see. They'd have to be the ones to push through.
Exactly. So, I guess while we're talking long term, this game is really interesting. 5.5 point spread. The public loves Utah. 64% of the bets on the spread are on Utah per the Action Network. We love the public betting, right? We love those numbers. UCLA, you were talking about that offense. It's dynamic. 9.7 yards per pass attempt. That's 17th in the country. They average 6 yards per carry. That's 7th in the country. This team is awesome. Awesome offensively. And defensively, I mean, I know they haven't played anyone incredibly difficult yet, but 6.0 opponent yards per pass attempt, that's 30th in the country. That's not bad. But then 1.8 opponent yards per carry, that's 6th in the country. You can't run the football on this team, and they kind of don't let you run the football on them, right? Because of their ability to just outpace you. But I got to give some respect to Utah, right? That offense is pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. It's respectful, especially at running the football. It's, they're a bit more of a rushing attack, but the way I see it, UCLA is just the better football team. Like, I don't really have much else to say. I'm looking at the statistics. I'm looking at the spread here. I love this 5.5 point number. It's a scary number.
Yes, it is. It concerns me a bit.
I mean, Utah might be able to win this game, but I think UCLA goes into Utah and wins. I think Chip Kelly, despite having a true freshman QB, he's built this program to win these kinds of games. And if they don't win, I think they cover. So I'm going to take the Bruins plus 5.5 here.
Yeah, it's a tough look because, I mean, both teams are physical. I mean, Utah, they've had their dominance over the years. Looking at UCLA, playing San Diego State and Coastal Carolina, does that really look like, you're really taking on a hustle challenge?
No,
I mean,
not yet.
Utah did already play. They played Florida,
Baylor.
You have a little bit better competition there. We don't know if we're going to see Cam Rising this week. I don't think so, but this is officially the first week where they're saying there's a chance he could be back. I don't think so. I think this is not a Michael Pratt situation here. I don't think Sam Rising just going to pop up on Saturday and be like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think I don't think he'll play this week. It does concern me because I think Dante Moore and that offense have a lot of talent and a lot of upside. To me, this would be a lock to Utah if it was a night game. I really like that I really like that plus 5.5 on the Bruins, man.
It's a juicy number.
It's
a juicy number.
It is.
The thing that I love about it is even if UCLA doesn't play their A game, the backdoor cover is there with 5.5. It absolutely is, because if they're down by 10 late, right? Let's say there's like a minute left. They're down by 10. If they score, they can go down and score an easy garbage time touchdown. It's a 3-point game. There's really a lot of opportunity there for some flexibility too, where you're not totally out of it at 5.5. Whereas covering 5.5 for Utah feels like a bigger challenge.
They had a challenge last week against Baylor. They had to fight back in that one. I don't know how much they won by. I think it was about maybe 10. I'm not 100% sure. Are you checking?
Checking right now. Yeah, they beat Baylor by 7, and then they beat Weber State by 24.
Man.
I mean, I get it's a home game, but
It's also noon, and the backup has been playing okay.
I think I'm putting my faith in Chip Kelly, man.
I'm going to go against my gut, and I'm going to go with UCLA.
The Bruins, let's go.
No shirt this week.
Yeah, what's up with that? No shirt this week.
I'm sorry. Are you expecting one every week
I
now?
was expecting a new Pac-12 shirt. I'm a little disappointed that there isn't one. Should be the Bruins.
I have a Bruins hoodie in my closet.
Throw it on.
That used to be my thing. I used to always wear that to basketball.
I remember that hoodie.
UCLA and Notre Dame were the two I had, but I wear that UCLA more than anything.
It's a fire hoodie for sure.
It was. I love that. All right. Well, I'm looking at this beautiful bear on the screen.
You can't put that bear up and not take the Bruins.
I know. I took the duck. I took the heat of the bear. It's just all flames, and we're on fire, and we're going for it.
When you put a fire alternate logo of a school, you have to go with that school.
I know.
You just do.
Gosh, I love
Those are the
I love
rules.
that on a shirt, man.
Those are the rules.
Maybe a crew neck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. All right, man. On to game 4. It's getting hot in here. I don't like this game. Old Miss heads to Alabama. Alabama favored by 7.
Yeah, dude.
Jalen Milroe back to where he belongs in the starting spot because they showed that against USF, the rest of the guys are not them.
No, unfortunately not. And Jalen Milroe clearly looks like the guy. And the team plays for Jalen Milroe. I don't think they play for Buckner. I don't think they play for the redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Name is escaping me. Simpson.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But in this matchup versus Ole Miss, I'm looking at a team in Ole Miss that does not know how to beat Alabama. They've lost 7 straight. Actually, it might be more. No, it's 7 straight.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They've lost 7 straight by an average of 13 points. But in their past 3 matchups in Tuscaloosa, you want to know how much Bama has won by on average?
They're probably like 20 points.
37 points. 37 points. So I have an Alabama team that historically, in a short period of time, is dominating this matchup. Dominating. So then I look at, okay, obviously those are different teams. Let's look at what they're doing
worst
right
team
now.
he's had in years.
Yeah, what are they doing right here, right now? Ole Miss can't cover anyone. Their defense is atrocious. And while I love what they can do offensively, Bama's defense is better this year than it was last year. It just is. This is easy for me, man. I'm taking Alabama. I think they can stifle Jackson Dart. I don't believe in him at all. And kind of like Dabo and Clemson, kind of like Napier and Florida, this is a prove me wrong game. Prove me you're not still Alabama. I think they blow the doors off of Ole Miss.
Whoa.
It's Roll Tide -7 all day.
Blow the doors off.
Blow the doors off.
Oh. I'll tell you what, man. Alabama's 3-0 since Lane Kiffin took over at Ole Miss. But they're only 1-2 against the spread in those 3 games, which is an interesting factor, you know? Saban, man. You're spending your Thursdays with Pat McAfee. Respect to that. You're trying to join that fun show. But you need to bring some seriousness back to Tuscaloosa. Bryant Denny got exposed against Texas. Texas showed out. They showed they were back. We saw a dwindling Alabama last season, and it's just increasing right now. Saban's got to put his foot down on the gas through the floor.
And it starts with him taking more control of that offense because
Absolutely.
Tommy Rees, as their new OC, has not been it.
I think it's a good thing that Brian Kelly didn't bring him to LSU because I think that would have hurt him. Look, Tommy Rees was an okay quarterback in Notre Dame. He did a decent job as their OC there, but he's not meant for the SEC. he needs to be somewhere else. Maybe
It's a bit of a challenge for him.
I feel
a bit
like
too much.
I feel like he should have been, if he moved to another place, it would have been better as a QB coach, before jumping to OC. He needed some more training. And maybe that's what he should have done in the Alabama system. Should have joined to be like an offensive assistant or the QB coach or something like that.
Or just stayed at Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not a bad job.
And you literally have arguably probably the best quarterback in the transfer portal coming to you in Sam Hartman.
Yeah. He was the arguably, but it doesn't seem like an argument right now the way that he's been playing.
No.
With all due respect to, your boys.
Yes.
Your boy and Sam Hartman. I'm trying to give him respect because you've called me out. I haven't given the respect, but no, he's been very good, and he was the best QB available. And Notre Dame got him, and they're looking good. They're looking formidable.
Absolutely. And you know how I am. Last week I got hurt. My boys from Knoxville. The Volunteers, man. You know them. I love them. And I love Hottie Toddy. I love them Ole Miss Rebels.
I know you do.
But I'm going Alabama. I love Lane Kiffin. I love Ole Miss. But Saban's not letting if he has to go fight Kirby, he's not letting Lane get a step on him.
No, and especially with the start of SEC play, they need to make a statement immediately, and they need to right the wrong that was the Texas loss at home. Mm-hmm. This is the opportunity to do it, especially against Lane Kiffin, who I think Saban loves beating up on.
Absolutely.
So I love that you're on Bama. I got the Farshone stamp of approval here. I'm feeling good about that Roll Tide pick.
I think so too. I don't think they blow the doors off of them, but I could still see, a 2-touchdown win.
I'm going 49-17.
Wow. If I had to make a guess, I'd say 31-14.
It's fair.
31.
It's probably more likely.
Evan's like 65-3.
It was 66-3 not too long ago.
I know, isn't that crazy? That was a different team, man. That was just
it was.
That was the Tide tsunami era.
Yeah.
Right now they're just brushing up along the shore.
Yeah.
They gotta roll back out to sea and come in with a punch.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
All right, last game of the slate, Game 5, and believed to be Game of the Week. Game day will be in South Bend as the Buckeyes head to Notre Dame. This is going to be a great game. Last year, Notre Dame headed to Ohio State, and Ohio State squeaked out a win.
They put up a good fight. That was a very respectable fight against a team that everyone had college football playoff and national championship hopes for. And Ohio State was that team at the end of the year. In that game against Georgia, they proved that they were that good, but they didn't look the part against Notre Dame. So it's interesting to see how they'll fare this year without Stroud, without some of their key guys. I don't know if JSN was right for this game, but regardless, going from Stroud to McCord, a massive difference in talent there. The public loves Notre Dame, though. 60% of the bets on the spread are on the Irish per the Action Network. We were just talking about Sam Hartman and this offense. They're averaging 11.4 yards per pass attempt. That's third in the country. This team is incredible at throwing the football, and they're great at running the football too. 5.6 yards per carry. That's 14th in the country. That's incredible. 5.6 yards per country. Even a little bit more. The issue with Notre Dame is that they're playing Ohio State. And I can sit up here and tell you their numbers look great, and it looks all fun and cute. But Ohio State, their pass defense is back. 4.8 opponent yards per pass attempt. That's fourth in the country. They're allowing 2.3 opponent yards per carry. That's 10th in the country. They're second in yards allowed per game. This defense has improved, and that offense with Marvin Harrison Jr. is looking like it's getting better and better each week. And they have a very good ground attack, too. Don't sleep on Travion Henderson. I believe in the Bucks. I think they get it done. I'm taking Ohio State on the road -3. I'm not giving up on Ryan Day and this team just yet. I know they looked a little sloppy against Indiana game 1, but I think breaking in a new QB, getting a little bit more comfortable in the system, I think Ohio State shows out in a big way in this one in South Bend. Give me the Bucks -3.
Look, I'll say one thing about Kyle McCord. He's not as bad as I thought, but this is his only year that he's going to be Ohio State quarterback or starting quarterback. After this year, it's not going to happen anymore. Marvin Harrison is going to carry him to maintain that starting role just because of their old connection that they have. And Marvin Harrison is the reason this team has been proficient. Can't complain about that when you're the best receiver in the country. You can't. I mean, so that's fair enough. But I do respect the front, the front four for Ohio State. But the three-headed horse that Notre Dame has in their backfield is absolutely insane. These guys will run all over you. They'll hit out the flat. They'll just take it to the house. It doesn't matter. And Sam Hartman, to me, is, I said, at the beginning of the season, I said extremely dark horse for Heisman. He's a legit contender. He's not a dark horse.
He's not a legit contender.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No.
Tell me he's not top 5.
It doesn't matter. No one's contending with Caleb. No one's contending with him. I'm sorry. He's gonna repeat.
It's unfair. It's unfair, man.
Look,
Such
in
a
any
bias.
other year, yeah, Hartman's a contender. But no one is a contender as long as Caleb Williams is healthy. It's just the truth. No one is dethroning Caleb. They're just not.
Even if they have the numbers?
If he has numbers, Caleb has better numbers. That's just how it goes.
That's such a load of crap.
That's just how it is.
Oh, if he has great numbers, he has better ones. If he has 25 touchdowns, I guarantee you Caleb already has 26.
Yes.
That's such a load of crap.
It's just the truth.
Whatever you do, he already did.
It's true.
Such a joke, man. Oh, I feel like Shedeur Sanders has more passing yards than Caleb already.
He probably does.
Probably has more touchdowns.
He probably does. But
So, okay. So that's a joke. Obviously, the Buffs aren't going to keep it going.
Caleb is the best player in college
I
football
know he
by
is.
leaps and bounds. Sam Hartman is not in the same discussion.
The disrespect, man.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to burst your bubble. I'm really not.
After you just gave him respect.
I can respect him and not call him a Heisman contender. He's not.
Yes, he is. But if you think I'm taking the Bucks, you're psycho. Doesn't matter that I'm a Michigan man. I'm taking Notre Dame +3 all day. They got the boys in the backfield. They got a good receiving core. They got a strong line. They got Sam Hartman. They have a better defense than people think. And it's and they got the home advantage this year. They have a better team than they did last year. And Ohio State arguably has a worse team than last year. Do you disagree? Do you think Ohio State has a better team than last year?
Do I think Ohio State has a better team than last year? I don't think they have a better quarterback, but they might have a better team. Then I have to see it in this one. This game is going to show me
who's real on each side of the ball.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Because obviously, I'm not going to sit here and tell you McCord is better than C.J. Stroud, the number 2 overall pick in the draft, who has looked very good in his first 2 career NFL games. I can't sit here and say McCord's better. But what I can say is maybe Ohio State's more complete on the offensive line. Maybe they're more complete in the back end of the secondary. Maybe they're more complete on the defensive line. Maybe they, as a whole, are a bit more cohesive and a bit more together. I can't say they're a better team yet, but if they win this game and they do it convincingly, then yeah, I think they will be looked at as a better team than they were last year. Because last year, Notre Dame didn't have Sam Hartman. They weren't as competitive as they are supposed to be this year, right? Notre Dame's supposed to be a lot better than they were last year. And if Ohio State goes on the road into South Bend at night and wins, well, yeah, that's a much more impressive win this year than it was last year. And that'll show me a lot about Ohio State and who they are as a football team and who they are going to be going forward with Ryan Day.
This is giving me the Clemson at Notre Dame vibes a couple of years ago. Although I think Ohio State might do a little better than that. the Clemson
They might.
situation. But I don't think this game's a blowout on either side.
No, I think it'll be close. It could be a one-score game. It could be two. I'm not really sure. But I like Ohio State to cover. And if it's a 3-point game, then we push. And it's, no harm, no foul. Unless, if Ohio State, obviously, they would have to win by 3 for us to cover. If Notre Dame wins by 3, then I'm screwed. But back to your point about Sam Hartman. Looking at his stats right now, very basic stats. It's pretty good. It's not Caleb good, but it's pretty good. I mean, Hartman has more yards and 1 more touchdown, but Caleb has thrown the ball 20 less times. And then I looked at Shedeur Sanders, and Caleb has thrown the ball, oh my gosh, 66 less times.
That's
than
a tough
Shedeur.
comparison because that's all they do is throw the ball.
Caleb's only thrown the ball 70 times, and he has 878 yards, 12 touchdowns, and his completion percentage is 78.6%.
And how much does that have to do with his receivers going on a freaking break for the house? Well, dump and run.
Have you seen the throws, though?
I know. I saw that crazy one.
But then I'm not.
But that crazy catch.
I'm not going to disrespect Hartman though. 13 touchdowns, 0 picks. Caleb also has 0 picks. 1,000s, just over 1,000 yards, 71% completion percentage. He's thrown the ball 90 times, so he's thrown the ball 20 more times than Caleb.
He's got a good squad though around him, Caleb, with that with Rice and that true freshman in Branch. I mean, he's a speedster.
But I mean, I don't know. They haven't really played anyone yet.
We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see.
This is when the teams start playing
exactly.
real opponents.
This is the big week that we've been waiting for. A lot of ranked games. This week. I think there's 7 or 8, which is crazy.
Finally, a good week in college football.
I know. Last week was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But it's going to be a big one. Time to run it down?
Let's do it. So, in game 1, it's Oregon, it's Colorado. The Ducks favored by 21 points. Me and Justin are both on the Ducks. You know what it is. Clemson, Florida State. Clemson, 2.5-point dogs at home. I am on Clemson. Justin is on the Seminoles. In the 3:30 kickoff, UCLA and Utah. Utah favored by favored by 5.5 points. Me and Justin are both on the Bruins plus 5.5.
Look at that bear.
Beautiful. Bama, Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa. Bama favored by 7. Me and Justin are both on the Tide. And then in the nightcap, college game day, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Ohio State favored on the road by 3. I'm on the Bucks. Justin is on the Irish at plus 3. And those are your week 4 college football picks, courtesy of Squeeze the Juice. Justin, we're only opposed on 2 games this week, so...
And I knew we would be on a guaranteed one.
Yeah, you knew that last one. I mean, I already said last week on the episode. I'm going Bucks. You know what it is, but...
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. But, no, man, I think this is the week where we get it right, and our records really start to be, positive going forward. I mean, even if I went 5-0, I'd still be negative on the year, but baby steps.
I'm looking for a positive week to finally hit that positive stride. I've been riding the 500 bar.
Yeah.
But nothing wrong with that.
We need it for sure.
But we're excited for a good weekend. College football. I hope you guys are too. I love college football so much. I know Evan's more NFL, but
I still love college football. It's just
it doesn't love
it's
him.
Not the same. It's not the same, and it's not reciprocal, and it's love.
To me,
back.
I agree it's not the same, but to me, I enjoy the just the energy of college football better. There's something about it. But anyway, enjoy college football. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.